Previously on Prison Break.
I didn't kill that man, Michael.
The evidence says you did.
I was set up.
Put down your weapon!
I find it incumbent that you see the inside of a prison cell.
The chair isn't the only way to take a man's life in prison.
Hi, I'm Paul Scheuring, creator and executive producer.
He is. This is Paul Scheuring.
He's
creator,
our writer.
Producer, writer of Prison Break.
That voice right there, that very manly voice you're hearing, is Dominic Purcell, who plays Lincoln.
It's actually just me. I've got a cold.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
She's got a lot of range. That's Sara Callies, who plays Dr. Tancredi. We're here with Rob Knepper. He's just coming to life after a long night in the town.
You look at bro. Is that why you're so quiet?
And Amaury's in the corner along with Wade Williams, who are Sucre and Bellick, respectively. They're unmiked right now, but you may hear a peanut gallery with a few of these jokes. And this episode is called Riots, Drills, and the Devil. It was written by Nick Santora.
Nick Santora.
He had written for The Sopranos.
I love Paul eating in this scene.
Yeah. Talking about Paul Adelstein, the actor who plays Kellerman. He always kind of plays an understated, not that serious, I'm eating, just kind of hanging out. These aerial shots, I mean, I just can't get over the production value of the city.
Or were those stock?
I think those are real.
Yeah, I think Watkins shot him.
Daniel J. Travanti shows up as a president of the United States here for about 1 second. You just saw. You might remember him from Hill Street Blues.
That was one of my favorite shows, Hill Street Blues.
What was her name? Veronica Hamill?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The lady with the long dark hair. Oh my God.
What you said to say that you were in a meeting.
The devil face. It was originally supposed to be Jesus on the cross, but later in the episode, they're drilling through key strategic points of that's projected on the wall, and Fox felt that was too incendiary with the Christian right for fear that, we might offend the very religious, and so it became the devil about 2 days before production. We had a lot of arguments about that, but at the end of the day, we lost that one.
Censorship.
Yeah, certainly. Religion is something that they take very, very seriously at standards and practices at Fox, and we can cut off toes, we can make all sorts of violent scenes, but if
you can't say Jesus Christ.
You can't say Jesus.
You can't. Yeah, Lincoln said Jesus. Oh, jeez.
But I think it played as G's, G-E-E-Z.
I said Jesus in the scene with Peter, didn't I? In episode, say hi to him for me.
Oh yeah, well you could
but
say
that's
it
not
that
using
way.
his name in vain, technically, right?
Yeah, right.
Say hi to Jesus for me, boy.
Yeah.
That's Dominic doing Robert Knepper.
Dominic Purcell
not
is
very
Robert
well, I don't
Knepper
think.
in.
Not very well.
No, I can't even do me that well.
And here's Michael again using his engineering skills to figure out how to get through a wall here.
This episode, man, when I watched it, the music on this was unbelievable.
No, this was, oh, was it?
What?
Was this Bob Mandel's episode?
Yes,
Yeah, this is
yes,
Robert
Bob
Mandel.
Mandel did this. Yeah. You'll notice the night shots now as we get deeper into the season. The night shots of the cell are a lot more darkly lit. In the first few episodes, we were getting these night shots
Look at
where
that sexy man.
I noticed that. Amaury, at any opportunity, has his shirt off.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's we're on Fox, we're on network television. We have a very young audience base.
Dude, if I had those abs, I'd have my shirt off, too.
Exactly, and a lot of women, a lot of young women. And so whenever we can get our dudes like Amaury running around without his shirt off, a pair of boxers like that, we'll gratuitously do it.
Amaury, we're objectifying you and you're in the room. How do you feel about that, man?
He loves it.
Yeah.
No words.
Oh.
Abs of steel.
He did an ab.
Dude, that's messed up. Leave the man alone.
We're going to keep going back to that, are we?
Oh, yeah.
We'll dig up some Australian commercial you did like 10 years ago.
Man, we can talk about North Shore if you like.
That's okay.
Back to work. Okay, I don't have time for this right now.
That scene right there, we shot in the hallway, at 8 o'clock at night, and this is shot about 3 in the morning, but it's got to play continuous, so the actor's got to have the memory of what the last scene was, what their energy was right at the end of that and carry that into the next scene. And some people don't really realize that there's kind of that requirement as an actor to really kind of put together the jigsaw puzzle in your head and be consistent,
You're being paranoid. You're being paranoid.
Go away, then.
And music helps in little scenes like that where it just a slight twist in the score makes you think, ooh, he might be evil.
What was going on with the hand there, man?
I know.
But Faye, what are you doing, man?
No, that's fine.
Okay, by the way, Phil Van Leer, this guy right here.
Yep.
Such a cool guy.
Hey, Schofield.
Yeah. Philip is a local Chicago actor who had about 2 lines in a pilot, something like, hey, move it! And just had such a nice presence on screen and was a very, very cool dude to work with that we brought him back, and he's in virtually every episode.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those stories of an actor playing himself into more screen time.
A lot of them about.
Yeah. And he even gets to have an affair with the secretary in episode 8.
I am the warden.
I love this shot right here. I just think it's such a nice shot.
We're locked up.
And again, this is one of these things where we have this set. It's a 4-wall set. All we have to do is remove the ceiling, and we can rig the camera up there and look down. So that's one of the things a set affords you, is a lot of different opportunities to get a lot of different shots from a lot of different angles.
By the end of the day, mañana.
Have we talked about the drinking game yet that people have?
No, let's talk about that.
Wentworth just said, be on those walls. I think that's half a beer. Every time I take off my gloves, that's a full beer. There's a whole bunch. Ask Jocko. He's got a...
Somebody was saying...
There's like 9 rules or something.
Every time Schofield stares off into the middle distance or something.
1,000-yard stare.
Every time I ask a question.
Yeah.
Every time you ask a question?
Every time Sucre asks a question.
Dude, that's a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
That's a lot of drinking.
Drink a shot of Jack Daniels, and the entire country's in the emergency ward.
It's true. What, in the last episode, don't you ask like 11 questions in a row?
Yeah.
The last episode that we're shooting right now, I had my last line is, so what do we do now?
Yeah. It's very tough. It's very tough to act stuff like that.
Sucre is constantly confused.
Yeah. Well,
it's all right. I'm always being lied to, for what it's worth. I only get lied to.
But Amaury, he's kind of the sounding board for Michael the majority of the time because Lincoln is locked away, so they can't have a lot of conversation. So whenever we have to draw information out of Michael to inform the audience, unfortunately it falls on Sucre a lot of the time to ask the dumb questions. What do you mean we can't get through that wall? And it's very challenging for an actor. But
he always has amnesia from one episode to the next. I know you said this yesterday, but...
Right.
Have we been introduced to Teabag yet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we made Teabag in this episode, 101.
First episode. But remember I got hit in the face with Peter, and I've been in infirmary for 2 episodes. I love the soundtrack on this episode.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
And Teabag, people, had responded to him somewhat in the first episode that he was in. They were like, that guy popped. But it was really this episode, 105, that Teabag became kind of part of the national kind of conscious.
The stuff of nightmares?
Yeah.
When you've got her picture in your mouth?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was one of the big ones.
No screw-ups.
For you, Diamond?
I'd like to tell a story about Rob when I first met him. It was in episode 101. We had this brief kind of racial war between the whites and blacks. And we had about 150 extras running around doing all sorts of things. And the camera was focused on Michael and another guy in the foreground. And Teabag was kind of in the background. And Rob's kind of a method actor, and he gets very much in the zone when he walks around. And he comes by me in between takes and sticks his tongue out, and he's got a razor blade on his tongue. And the scene doesn't require that. You never see it. It was not asked for in the script, but it just got him in the mood. It just got him into the zone as Teabag.
6 kinds of crazy, baby.
Yeah, so there's Rob Knepper's methodology for you.
Well, you remembered it. You put it in a later episode.
This is something we do often with the filmmaking of Sara and Michael's love affair, is that...
Love affair?
Michael's always got the bars in front of him, the fence in front of him, and very often we try to keep a clear frame on her so that we get an idea that she's free and he's not. But as I say this, you can see there's something that does not happen.
It's blurry, though.
Right.
Fair enough.
Hey, this isn't much.
And Sara was the first person we cast in this series because she just absolutely popped when she came in. So we knew that we had the doctor for about a month.
That's right. I kept calling my agent. I was like, who the hell else is in this thing?
Who else is in it? But Sarah's fantastic.
This is also a promise I never make good on.
That you... No, I think you do, like, way, way late. No?
I don't think so.
What promise is that?
I promised to try and have you two meet up in the infirmary.
All right. You do,
Never
though.
do
You do, don't you?
I think there's one time.
He asks me to.
When we were
like 12, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do it. Sorry, pal.
When we were editing it, though, I tried to...
Right.
I tried to edit that part out because I felt it was irrelevant. But one of the things about editing together a TV show is you have to edit to exactly time. For a TV show on Fox, it's 42 minutes and 39 seconds, and there's no variance usually.
Nasty pasty.
Watch the physicality of this. Watch. He slithers.
I love it.
You know?
I was blown away watching Rob.
Boom, 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 boom.
We got you a little.
Thank you,
Oh,
Dom.
this poor kid.
No, you bring...
Oh, the cherry.
Cherry. This kid does a good job.
Okay, this kid was named after Seth.
Yeah.
Who I went to college with, who now works in your writer's office.
That's right.
I'll catch up with you later. Oh, my God.
Look at this. Look at the six-pack on the wall behind him. This is great. Watch this delivery of this line. What you heard about me, they're not all true. Right, but watch the way he delivers it. The line was okay in script, I thought. But when the way he delivers it, it's just awesome.
You probably heard stories about me. They're not all true.
And then the pocket comes out. My goodness.
Early on, when this episode was airing for a couple of weeks, I'd walk out around Chicago and people would say, "Can I hold your pocket? Can you take a picture of me with your pocket out?" So at first, it was like great, and I thought, "Well, no, I don't want to do that."
That's kind of sick.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's one of the interesting things about the popularity of Prison Break is people like a lot of the dark elements of it that kind of are just twisted. They like Kellerman and they like Teabag and they like Abruzzi and just very strange. I guess America's a little more twisted than we thought. That's a beautiful shot. Again, you don't see shots like that on television shows too often. And this is actually in the practical location. This is actually in the back of the cell block between cells. And Wentworth likes to do a lot of his own stunts whenever he can. And he does it very tirelessly without complaining. He's a real professional.
He's also very sensitive about when he sees a stunt double from behind. It's really funny.
That's right. He's like,
he used to come over to watch it, and he'd be like, "Oh, that guy's way fatter than me."
Yeah, and he's 5'1"
or shorter. Yeah,
and he's got a humpback.
Who is that troll?
That's not Schofield.
Talks himself into more work.
Again, now the idea is that very, very hot, the hottest April on record, Sara says earlier, which doesn't track if you watch the entire season because
it starts to snow.
It starts to snow about 2 weeks later in season time, but that's one of the problems about shooting a show year-round in Chicago, and you have a television schedule that you have to continue to shoot no matter what.
Coldest May on record.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've been going over the incident report from the night of the...
Again, a really ugly outfit on Nick, but he has to wear them because he's the poor public defender.
He can pull it off. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry.
Listen, Melonhead.
Hey, I got the biggest head on the planet. I know that. But this guy did a commercial 10 years ago, Paul was telling me. Abs of steel.
Poor Frank.
Frank, we love ya.
He's so great.
We love ya.
He is. He's got really incredible charisma.
He does.
Oh, he's so sexy. I just love his abs.
Can I punch you in your big head?
This is a safe room. I thought for about the first 10 minutes...
Who the hell is that dude?
That guy changes his hair color about every month. Have you noticed that?
And he talks like this. He's got a voice just like this.
You were supposed to turn off the AC, not turn on the furnace.
Latin Brando.
And a lot of those insert shots you see are shot weeks and months later when we decide we need them, because it's too much work to do when you're getting the actors' performances in a very short schedule. So a lot of those things, like Michael tracing the devil right there, are done. This is great.
Oh God.
This is the eating of the...
Yeah. He's a personal bowl.
It's creepy how many of your lines I remember because they're so gross.
This is twisted.
You'll know when I want you to open your mouth.
Crunch.
Gary!
You gotta do something about the heat.
Doing the best we can.
Your best is garbage. It's 100 degrees in here.
Rob's performance in Prison Break, I mean, personally, I think it's one of the best screen performances that I've seen in film and TV. You know, when I first saw Rob's performance as T-Bag, I was literally blown away, dude.
Yeah.
By what you were doing.
I don't think it's that good, actually.
And the impact that he has had with the audience has been incredible.
Yeah. I love this scene. This was like playing in the Greek theater.
Yeah.
All these guys watching around.
What a great
We had one
space.
take where I just like said, "Oh, just roll the camera. I don't care. Let the guys make noise. I'll calm them down."
Is
like,
this
sound-wise? Like, oh no. It's like, no, come on, let's just get them going.
Yep.
Are we still? We didn't do this on the soundstage. We're still out at it.
No.
Oh, this was soundstage.
So this was done in Chicago or at the prison?
Chicago.
stage.
So this was the full stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a big space.
Yeah.
He's faking it.
He's faking it.
And there's a little antagonism you sense in this scene that plays out later in the season, and you kind of understand why Bellick has a little issue with the doctor.
I'll have your patients transferred from sick bay. Just looking out for your best interests.
And I appreciate that. But Officer Bellick, you and I both know that it's illegal to deny a prisoner medical care, and you could lose your job over it.
No, the audience does too.
All right, Doc, you're
mean.
And your head is on straight. Right?
and you're one
And
single
I
hot beautiful
hate
girl
your
and
head.
walk in there with a bunch of cons. See you later. This is great.
When this guy woke up this morning, he was white.
It's a very complex scene to shoot very quickly, again, on a TV production schedule, you know, and just the number of different looks, different angles that you have here is just, again, a testament to how professional these guys are. Because, I mean, something like this, if you put in a feature film, it would take you 2 days to shoot like a scene like this. And we got about 5 hours probably, I'm guessing.
Our crew is amazing.
Lockdown.
And that's the magic of Prison Break, is that we're able to bring so much production to the screen in 8 day shoots. I mean, it's just absolutely unbelievable.
I don't know if we finished this one in 8 days, though, did we?
Yeah. Or we had second unit stuff for a day, didn't we?
I don't know.
This was.
I remember 5 and 6 feeling like they took a month.
Yeah.
Because it was hot.
You want to protect your prison rep? Or you want to get out of here?
The sheet part, yeah.
And this is a real thing. It's that the prisoner hangs a sheet when they want to get a little friendly,
action.
Right? And Sucre obviously doesn't want the other prisoners to think that he's the submissive.
Max got such a great
And
look.
that from what Mac was telling me, that there was actually a little acrimony between him and that guy, that like things got a little too hardcore.
Really?
And when he was shoving his finger in that guy's face in that moment, that he was really pissed at him.
I wouldn't want to see Mac pissed.
And he cursed at the guy, I think. And if you notice in that scene that you don't hear it, but
Wow.
it played very real.
Yeah, we've got a kind of rough around the edges extra core sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of these extras in Prison Break actually, a few of them actually are veterans of Joliet where we shoot. They're actual real cons. They like to make 60, 70, 80 bucks a day being back at their old digs but getting paid for it. But at the same time, it gives us a real sense of a real prison population, but sometimes the actors get a little nervous.
A little bit.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the guys that we shot the scene with later in this episode in 6.
The guy pulls your hair. Wasn't that the one that really got you?
God, yeah. I've never cried on set before.
Is that this episode or the next one?
I don't remember. I think it might be 6.
Let's make sure we talk about that when we get there.
He just
Yanked your hair, right?
didn't know how to do stunts. Real nice guy. But so he just really did it and grabbed my hair and slammed me back into this door.
Yeah, I got it.
Bam!
I remember being in Los Angeles and I got this call because the writing staff and producers out in Los Angeles, and this film production's in Chicago, and I got a call that day that Sara was very upset, and I thought, that's strange. She's such a professional and she's such a trooper and she could take anything. I guess someone must have really done something crappy to her. And I guess
He didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a real nice guy, but
right.
he's also like 6'9" and like 265.
Yeah.
He's a huge guy.
This is a great little scene. It also informs
This is a key scene that you gave me here. This whole backstory was like a dam opening up. Fucking Wade.
Isn't he just the evil William Shatner, though?
He is, man. It's very, very cool. Very perceptive.
No, it's legally insufficient.
What the hell is that?
Ow.
That hurt?
Yeah, it hit my shin.
Prosecution could point out the evidence from your criminal trial, okay? The blood, the video, the gun. A questionable phone call is...
One of the things we're doing with like makeup is to convey heat through this entire thing. Veronica's getting spritzed down, so is he. So everyone looks like they're glistening a bit. They're sweating a little bit. And I think in reality it's about 19 degrees on this day. I'm just kidding.
What happens next?
This actually wasn't it really hot?
It was a hot day. This was
yeah.
July or August, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming! Come on! It's coming!
I talked in the pilot when Dominic and I were talking about how the pilot had a lot of 3-page scenes. It was a slower pace, and as the season picked up, we started shortening the scenes. And it really came to kind of fruition here in the 5th, 105, where all these, you watch all these scenes, and they're half-page scenes. I mean, just bam, 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 bam. And I think that really helped us with pacing going forward.
It's like a drum beat at a certain point.
Yeah.
Oh, just what I thought! Get on the train!
Robert Knepper, my
You know
goodness.
what I love, Rob? Is watching you, I can tell how much you love to work. I can tell how much you enjoy what you do. It's cool.
I also got to tell you, this entire episode, I was sick as a dog.
Were you?
With a cold. So there was a lot of Sudafed acting going on here. I was out of my mind.
This performance is brought to you by narcotics.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time in Hollywood. This is great. Bellick's like, there's 100 cons coming at me. I'm going to get a handgun. But we debated that for a long time in the writer's room when we were conceiving of the scene. And I just said, you know, Bellick's such a proud guy.
Look at you just pushing buttons over there.
No idea. Maybe one of them will work. Oh, my God, that did.
Marilyn. Oh.
And
Marilyn, Marilyn, no, we don't have a double.
Everybody's favorite character.
And Marilyn was going to run. We had a lot of scenes originally in the script of Marilyn running between legs. You know, we kind of wanted her to be the kind of connective tissue of this scene. But because we had so many scenes and only 8 days to shoot it, and it's because shooting animals is extraordinarily difficult because they're not the best actors sometimes, we had to cut out almost all the Marilyn scenes.
Whose keys are those?
Doe.
I guess in the commotion.
Whoops. Bellick's still going to go with the gun. He's like, I'm going to take them all out.
These 12 bullets are going to take down everybody.
He's like Custer.
This is Bellick. Our wing has been breached. I want A wing evacuated and shut down. All access to B wing cut off now.
Son of a...
Love this drum stuff.
I'm gonna get some fluids into you. You'll be good as new, okay? Nod your head if you believe me.
Didn't he have a name like Tiny or something like that?
That's what I called him.
Yeah.
Theo!
Hey, you took off her gloves again.
I did. Drink. This guy's really sweet. This is one of his first professional jobs. He was so excited to be on it. It was awesome.
Held together by a rod and 3 screws. I'm saying tenderness is normal. No more.
And that's supposed to be a setup for the next episode. She knows that that's his weak link, and so she hits him in the knee, but it kind of goes by you.
I love your cadence, Sarah. You take words and you throw them away, and then you add like a little right at the end of it.
That was a nice little job by both the CO and Sara, where they realize we're fucked. We wanted more of a push here with the camera move, but again, it's just what you can get in 8 days. But we really wanted to focus on that toilet and the fact that the doors are now open, the toilet's exposed.
We can get through this wall, we can get into the pipe.
And we have a lot of special effects in Prison Break, and you know, because of technology, they've become cheaper and more affordable, especially on the small screen. But, you know, 10 years ago, if you'd asked for special effects in a TV show, you really wouldn't have got much. Michael Cudlitz, Bob, plays the character of Bob.
So he was in A River Runs Through It, I noticed. He was
in Band of Brothers, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry about cutting you short.
Really good actor. And his character's name is Bob. which stands for Barney One Bullet.
Huh? What does that mean?
Barney One Bullet? It's a kind of a disparaging term for a cop.
Wow. I've learned an enormous amount about racial slurs and mean things to say to people on this show.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
98% of them didn't make them to the screen either. No, one of the things we downloaded from the web was the racial slurs database. They actually have this alphabetical order, search by ethnicity. It's, my goodness, the web.
Okay, and
bringing
firing
the world
off
together.
some knuckle children is also something I had never heard. And
What?
I went around firing off some knuckle children. I went around to like 19 people on set. And nobody had heard that
Another
before.
great scene.
And then I saw it on The Family Guy.
This is so great. You bring two big presences together.
Rookie CO, and it ain't even Christmas.
First time I worked with you, Dom, right? This is our first scene together. Yeah, this was wild.
And this is great. And one of the things that we really wanted to do was, because Dominic had been so locked up thus far in the series, and this is the 6th episode that airs, and we were like, we gotta, activate this guy and see why he's linked the sync. And that's where this whole sequence came from. And Dominic certainly responded. You'll watch here.
You don't make you forget about that big bad chair.
No deal.
You gotta learn the art of negotiating.
It was a pleasure doing this scene with you, man. Playing ball.
What are you doing?
I gotta get the hell out of here.
Look around, you're not gonna make it.
Like an animal.
That's a nice little handoff right there, editorial-wise. It's funny, Michael's down here just kind of la 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 la. Let me show you all my cute little things. And above, Linc is surrounded by like 20 rapists. Here's Sucre having to ask all his questions.
I still don't get it.
Whenever he has a scene that doesn't have a question mark at the end of a sentence, he's happy.
Infection's not so bad. I'm going to give you a shot of penicillin just to make sure, okay?
Thanks, Doc.
Fox was very worried when we started this series that our manner of storytelling, where we would tell 5 to 7 different stories concurrently, would be too confusing for the audience. But I always said, don't underestimate the intelligence of the viewer. I mean, they can really,
absolutely not.
Especially in this day and age when you've got MTV with these, every second there's an edit. I mean, people can absorb so much media now, and they can track it all.
You've got TiVo and DVDs. I mean, people can go back and see stuff if they need to.
Sara's not happy.
Still scare me. That's great.
What's up, Doc? That was the guy that pulled your hair, right?
Yeah. Again, a real sweet guy.
Yeah. Huge.
But enormous.
Yeah. Look at this. And that was something we didn't get enough right there. We're supposed to be in her face, and we recognize that she's thinking, and she realizes, and she's got this syringe in her hand, and we really want to see that syringe land, but you can barely see it there. But again, making a show in 8 days, sometimes you don't get all the details that you want.
Yeah, I remember leaving that day, and I was like, I don't think we covered that. These guys got so riled up.
Yeah.
Every one of these windows ended up breaking.
Yeah, the dailies of these. Dailies are the raw coverage of the film that's captured. When we were watching all the dailies of these, we had 20, 30 minutes in total of it, and those guys were going absolutely nuts, and we just picked the little 1-second pieces for about 5 seconds, and it just is ugly.
Yeah, there's no acting involved in that scene.
Guess which one you are.
Crazy like a motherfucker.
This is great.
It was a lot of fun doing this stuff.
That was all one take every time you did that. That was all one sequence.
Great music, too, for it.
And the thing is, we wanted to show how badass Lincoln was, but ultimately, if Lincoln beat up 10 guys and got away with it,
this is it.
We just want to see this very noble attempt and still lose. Dominic did such a good job.
Just wondering why you guys didn't finish Linc
Nice
off.
cut.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, why didn't I finish him off?
Because then we don't have a
show. That's right.
We don't have a show. I mean, we could have figured out how to.
Rig.
Yeah.
What the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Question mark.
You do have some hard lines to deal with, bro.
And this is just uncomfortable. It's just a
Yeah.
pretty woman surrounded by a bunch of Sexually deprived men with criminal pasts, I think, not good. Look at her sitting outside the window. Not good.
My mom was so mad at me when this aired.
How come?
She was like, tell me when that's going to happen to my daughter again.
But the bulls worry about the noise. You worry about how you're going to drill through a 6-inch concrete wall with what used to be an egg beater.
Tried delivering that line 3 times in a row.
Now, we in the soundstage here.
Kevin Hooks is our producing director, and
you can tell straight off. You can tell that's in the soundstage.
Yeah, I was not pleased with the lighting. You know?
No.
Bottom of the fangs, end of the braids.
Not really braids, are they?
I mean, that's the cool thing about next year too. When we do break out, it's majority of it's outdoors, man.
Yeah.
On the run, right?
Yeah. I mean, just the sheer amount of edits in this episode. I mean, it's just absolutely
That's
amazing.
a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Look at the green. I mean, I just love it.
It's like complementary colors, the green and the orange. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Fox River, when the sun starts to set, can be so beautiful.
Absolutely.
She's calling it Fox River now. Joliet.
Oh, that's true. Sorry.
Completely different part of the facility.
Here's exposition for you. We need an insert shot there to show that they're in different places.
It's Sarah's daddy, the governor.
John Hurd.
We were convenient.
We were so thrilled to get John Hurd involved in this show because he's just his pedigree is just amazing.
Amaury, what are you doing, man?
I'm trying to listen to it too.
Well, plug it in.
Amaury's like crawling around on the ground right now, folks. I wish we had a camera.
That would help,
you should
wouldn't
see
it?
this. Yeah. This is just not good for Sara.
I'm gonna dance with you, Doc.
He's coming.
And we purposely got the biggest guys we could for this scene, because Sarah's not a small woman.
No, she's really
stature.
wide.
Oh,
She's robust. She's running through the hips.
Speak up there, Sara.
By that I mean in terms of height.
Dude,
She's
come on, I'm
tall
like
and
48,
lanky.
39, 52. What's wrong with you?
How tall are you, like 5'9"?
Maybe 8.5, yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, we wanted guys that would make her look very small, so we got guys that were 6'5" plus.
Wentworth is actually, I think, one of the first leading men I've worked with in the last few years who's actually taller than I am, which is lovely.
Yeah, he's like Gary Cooper. He's rangy and tall. And
He's like 6'1", right?
6'2", probably, almost.
That guy's hair is unbelievable.
He does it himself.
It's a
with a
work of
mirror.
art.
He does it all the time.
There's Cherry. He's a little bit jealous that his new lover is going away with his CO. I always argued that we take that edit out, you know, because it conveys the wrong thing, but it stayed in there.
Okay, I ain't got the blicky. Again, one
I
of your
accidentally
lines.
hit
I love
this
it.
poor guy on one of these hits.
Oh, no.
If you watch the season, you watch the Nick Santora episodes as a writer, he's always got the really poppy dialogue, like I ain't got the blicky, you know. He came over from Sopranos, and he's just got away with shit talking, I suppose you'd say.
Well, that's the other thing too, man. As actors, if you guys write some words, we just throw them away and put our own shit in there. Which is great, which is another thing I like to talk about, is the fact that we're allowed to play around with dialogue on a lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
You don't get that license, and I think that's one of the things that makes Prison Break work so well, is that the actors are allowed to, you know, to play around. Obviously, if we're not changing the intent of the dialogue.
Everything's been worked out. So
This scene right here, again, going back to that Jesus question, was that this image was originally supposed to be Jesus on the cross, and Sucre was supposed to be drilling into the wounds of the stigmata on the hands and on the feet. Very kind of dicey and racy, and that they didn't let us do it. But his trepidation in the scene was supposed to be as a Latin Catholic, actually having to drill into his Savior, and it's just a little bit different when it's the devil. But again, we had to make do with what we had. I thought it'd be much more interesting to see him, you know, oh my God, I can't drill into Jesus. Big moment.
Huge moment.
Big
right.
time.
Lucky.
What the?
They're breaking up.
God, I love this show.
Yeah.
I really love this show.
It's great.
Two guys at once. The two guys, a guard finds out and teabag.
Another incredible moment here.
Abruzzi went through a phase here, Peter, for about 3 or 4 episodes where he played everything about an inch away from the other guy's face.
That's right. He wanted to kiss everybody.
And I kept calling back to Chicago. I'm like, can we just have Stormare not make out with somebody in the scene?
But it's a very interesting dynamic between Peter and Rob because both of them are very, obviously superb actors, and seeing them battle it out, it's entertaining, man. It's really entertaining watching.
Like Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
This is just, aye!
Oh, that had to hurt.
Again, I would have liked to have more coverage of that needle.
Ow.
Oh, that looks real.
That bitch stuck me.
Watch him. Watch him.
You did a good job with that.
Look at Sara. It's time to go to battle
cut
here.
Your teeth, Sara. Ooh, baby.
And she does a really great job of like.
What am I gonna do? Cry?
Yeah,
oh, no.
That's what I love. Is
I'm
that
so upset.
I can get him. Yeah.
Ultimately, the structure of the script is that at the end of the day, she is the damsel in distress, but the way she plays it is like you see her make a turn right there, which is only one thing I can do is become feral and angry and fight my way out of this, even if I'm going to die. And you see her later in the episode definitely doing that. So again, that kind of shows her being strong as opposed to just simply the damsel in distress.
You got to figure a situation like that is kind of only a matter of time if you're working in a prison as a woman, right?
Right. So she knew that going in.
What's going on here, Paul?
A lot of really good actors in a very small set. I mean, look at these guys. You got Cudlitz, you got Miller, you got Abruzzi, Stormare, we'll call him Stormare, what the hell? Knepper, and Sucre.
Hey, that's the guy from the VW commercial.
But he's a god. V-dub.
At this point, Stormare hasn't washed his hair in about 6 weeks now.
Is that why you cut it all off later in the episode?
No, I wanted to cut all his hair off to give him a different look when he came back in 18. And
he looks better with the short hair.
Yeah. You think?
I think it looks great.
I like that hair right there.
So it's all of our concern now, isn't it?
Where am I?
There's Linc just out like a light.
I heard you went berserk in this scene.
Yeah.
Muse was like, I didn't know when to throw in my line.
Exactly,
I was like, it was great, man.
And I like this shot right here. It's kind of like a Pieta statue, right? Where he's basically kind of holding the fallen, saint. Right there. It's a Pieta shot right there.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
I love Muse.
It's a what?
A Pieta.
It was a painting right there.
Like a Pieta, Mary and Jesus.
You looking for Schofield? Yeah, Turk. Come on.
Now that guy Turk, my God, he is built like a truck.
Yeah.
He played. What wasn't he like? He was in some game, like video game or something.
Oh, he was probably on one of those American Gladiator things.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Push me over the railing. Push me over.
This is great. I mean, talk about two actors feeding off each other.
Yeah, these two are great.
Every con in here is gonna know about your little escape.
The acting muscle.
Is there a little
exposed.
Is there a little competition in there, Rob? Did you feel that when you guys were going at it?
No.
They're both too generous as actors for it to be competitive.
I'm gonna sing like Johnny Cash. There's another teabag line for you.
No, you want that. Like Amaury was saying once when he played tennis. He likes to play tennis with guys that are better players.
Yeah.
And then Dom whipped his ass. No, you play with good players. It makes you better yourself.
Yeah.
And
it raises the bar.
He brings your A game.
That's the best thing about this show. I mean, I always feel like I'm doing
You have to come up
doing
with
scenes
your
with people who are better than me until you learn.
And just look at all the shots that we've had in this episode. I mean, they're just the number of edits, the number of different angles, the number of different looks. And again, we did this in 8 days. I mean, it's just absolutely just amazing that you get a show like this.
And that the next week you get another one.
Yeah, the actors don't ever get a break. It's like
and again, we can thank the crew for all of that. I mean, they just work so tirelessly. We're blessed to have the guys behind the camera, and
well, they put in more hours than anybody.
And more than anybody.
Billy's amazing. Billy's the kind of guy who always, you said, if you need another take, just let me know. I'll take the blame.
Yeah.
And he's just awesome.
This guy does a good job as Turk, but I didn't get to see the casting of him, and it actually was a little too on the nose for me. I wanted him to be just a little less of a perfect He-Man,
Yeah.
and just somebody that you felt menaced, but I mean, it's just too obvious like this. Do you know what I mean? It's like the big, huge buff guy says, come on, I'll help you. Because whenever that happens, you know you're going to get beat up.
Yeah.
In real life. And again, we wanted to get up on that roof, add some scope, use the actual facility for cinematic...
This scene, Sara. Oh, love this shit.
Yeah. And that was shot a lot later, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get the helicopter. We're in one helicopter shooting over another helicopter there.
This is towards the end, right?
Yeah.
I remember people calling me.
This is just
all over
crazy.
The place. How can you leave me hanging like this?
I just got a call from a friend of mine in Australia this week. They just aired this for the first time, and he said, "Oh man, I just watched that last episode. It was a real cracker."
It's a cracker, mate. It's huge in Australia.
Yeah.
It's massive in Australia.